Good evening to everyone. Here it is again. Monday has come around again. Here in the United States, we are on the JADASA live broadcast located here in St. Louis, Missouri, but globally across the social media platforms and Blog Talk Radio. I am your host, Cynthia R. Bennett. Here on this podcast, we talk about issues dealing with the abuse and neglect to raise awareness, provide resources, and offer hope through educating, edifying, and encouraging in our communities locally and globally. I want to thank you, our viewers and listeners, and ask that if this podcast is helping you in any way with your family, your friends, your associates, the JADASA organization is asking you to take time out and go to our website and our social media pages to see the causes we raise for women and children. Be sure when you go to our social media pages, we ask that you like and share, because we want this information to get out to as many people as possible. We may not know you, we may not be able to talk to you, but we want to get the information to you. And also to go to our website, jadasa.org, because you never know who on your timeline may need this information or know someone who needs it and they can readily share it with them. So we are asking you to like and share the pages, the social media pages, go to our website and talk about it. Talk about what JADASA is doing, because we're doing a lot in the community and you're the community. So you're a part of JADASA. I always talk about that. But before we get started, I want to read some announcements, and I'm going to switch down here to our announcements, and I'm going to add them into the stream. So, of course, we have our Sister Sis group that is on Wednesdays, 7 to 8 o'clock. However, this Wednesday, we will not have it because JADASA is on the move, figuratively and literally. We are moving into our office. Now we will have 2 locations. The Lord is definitely blessed in our location where we deal with direct services, where we meet the women and the children on one-on-one for case management and crisis intervention and things of that nature. That's at one location. And then we have our community outreach, which is going to remain at the resource center that we're currently at now. So anything we're doing with our resources and the upcoming events that we talk about later, those always going to be at the resource center. So we're just excited about what is going on and the move of God and just helping the women and the children, just helping the people in the community. And we can't do it without you. You are a part of this movement as well. So with that being said, this Wednesday, the Sister Sis Closed Group Circle will not be on this Saturday because we will be moving. So next up, this Saturday, you guys, I'm telling you, the spring session has already wrapped up. The girls have finished their apps. We was practicing, we're looking over them, and now they're going to be showcasing their apps to their parents this Saturday, and we are excited. However, you have the opportunity and the chance to be a part of this workshop that's coming up in the summer, and it's going to be 2 weeks straight in the summer during the days because the kids are out of school, and it's going to be from June the 21st to July the 28th. It is going to be 8 days straight, Tuesday through Friday 1 week, Tuesday through Friday the next week. And so we're asking you to have your girls to come out there to register now. The registration is open. And of course, seating is limited. So we are excited about this Saturday, get to showcase with their families. Of course, we're going to put it out on Facebook so you can see what's going on. So we're excited. Again, if you have any girls or nieces or friends that you know that would be willing and we're excited to be a part of this program, we would certainly love to have them. Again, have them to go out to our website and register now. Seating is limited, but it's on a first come, first serve basis. Also, ladies, Many Shades of Chucks. We finna pump this out next week when our teams meet together. Push this, push this. We're asking everybody to come and be a part of it. Dress up, dress down in your chic attire. Put your chucks on, and put your shades on. It is going to be June 11th from 2 to 5. We're going to have music. We're going to have food. We're going to have gift baskets. We're going to have auction drawings, just pictures, everything. It is going to be at the 417 Adams Street Mansion. It is a beautiful, beautiful venue in the heart of historic Ferguson. And we want you to be a part of it. Tickets is $40, and your $40 is going towards women and children who we work with and who we help with abusive situations. Your $40 can prepare a meal for 4 people. They can have a meal. Your $40 goes a long way, and we are looking for you to be a part of this event, the Many Shades of Chucks. Again, starting next week, we're going to be just pumping this out there, pumping it out there, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, and we want you to be a part of it. We want you to be a part of it. I can't say it enough. Also, I want you to remember October the 8th. Keep that on the calendar. Keep that on the calendar. Keep that on the calendar. October the 8th is our annual walk run against abuse. It is going to be in North St. Louis County at the Bell Fountain Park. This is a beautiful park with a beautiful lake and the beautiful trail and everything. So that is the actual trail that you're looking at. And so we want you to stay on the lookout for this, because Shades of Chuck is June 11th. We're pumping this out June the 12th. T-shirts and masks and everything are being made as we speak. I am so excited about this race and what we're doing for the people in the community. I'm just excited. So I want you to make sure you keep your calendars locked and loaded with these dates, okay? Good. So to get back at what we're talking about, and so if you have any more things you want to look at, resources on our website, go to JADASA.org. If you have any questions, you can hit us up on Facebook or social media, or go to our web page and we can answer the questions there. But please keep going. We're going to be putting this stuff out because we're going to be just knocking them out. I know it's prom season. I know it's graduation seasons, but still, don't forget the women and the children who are less fortunate, who may be going through some trying times and stuff. We can't forget them. And I don't ever want to forget them. You know, I want them to always know that they're thought about, even though we have life and even though we have things that's going on in our own lives and stuff. I just don't want them to feel like nobody cares and they're by themselves. And so I'm asking you to be a part of that. Okay. So tonight I put out there about emotional abuse. And, you know, I thought about it and I said, we talk about abuse. We talk about, you know, different forms of abuse. We've talked about resources. We talked about laws. We talked about things, quarantine and stuff that abusers and abuse go through with that, you know, which we call it your intimate partner. But then I thought about, you know what, the teens, you know, that's a demographic, you know, we haven't really delved into a lot. I have, but teens are suffering more and more with this emotional abuse. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about it more and see what we can do as a community to help them. Because as I said in the clip, when I put out there, they deal with a whole lot of stuff. They deal with a whole lot more than what we've had to deal with, you know, as kids. At 12, 13, 14, 15, I was still out there jumping double dutch and playing hula hoop and jacks and hopscotch and all that stuff. I wasn't thinking about adult things and things that we had to go through. You know, we were still trying to, you know, braid hair. And I mean, they doing it now, but I mean, we was just trying to play baseball. We was, you know, dodgeball. We were just still trying to be kids. And it's no fault of their own, but sometimes a lot of them have had to grow up quick and fast beyond their years. And they've had to deal with things that their young minds are probably not equipped to deal with, because it hasn't developed enough to even understand whatever is going on. And so there's a new CDC data found out that more than half of the United States high school students suffered emotional abuse from a parent or someone else in their home since the start of the pandemic. I'm telling you, this pandemic has brought out a lot of stuff. Okay, it's brought out a lot of stuff. It's probably brought out things that we knew about, but we kind of kept it in the back of our minds, like out of sight, out of mind, how we talked and felt like that. And, okay, we know about it, but it's not in the forefront. Now this stuff is hitting us right here, dead smack in our faces, to the point you either go continue to look away or you go deal with it, but I'm going to get in your face. And that's where we are with a lot of stuff that came out of this pandemic. And so there's this one particular teenager says that his mom grew up in a violent household, and her father would slap her across the face and abuse her and her mother, and both her parents, insulted her and talked about her and said that she would never amount to anything. You know how some folks say when they get upset, you ain't worth 2 dead flies, and that stuff hurt. That hurts. And so I can imagine, what teens are going through. And of course, just by hearing some people talk now, even in the streets, in the stores and stuff, and it's how we got to do better, y'all. Because some of us parents, the way we talk to our kids, and way we talk around our kids, and the language we use around our kids and stuff, we got to do better. We got to do better, because now kids, they don't even want to be kids. I take that back. They want to be kids, but they don't have the ability, or they don't have the freedom to be kids because of stuff we as adults are doing. So as frightening as the physical abuse was, this particular guy and his mom was talking about, the victim said that it was the emotional abuse that made her feel powerless, his mother, even though she dealt with the physical. She said it was the emotional abuse that made her feel powerless. And why, and so, some people always say, we always hear that, why didn't she leave, and told me, why wasn't I worth it? This is the son talking to the mom, thinking about the mom. Why didn't she just leave? Why would she just stay there and deal with that? And then I have to deal with that. Wasn't I worth it? Wasn't I enough that she would want to leave? Emotional abuse is very insidious. It deals with your psyche, and it becomes a codependency if we don't be careful, and then we wonder why, how you see somebody, or even yourself, let's put ourselves out there. Why do I keep ending up with the same kind of person? Different person, same scenario, same makeup, same issue, same craziness. It's something in us that we have to heal and come to ourselves. Why I keep picking that type of person? Why do I keep picking that type of person? And so emotional abuse is very insidious, and so recently the Centers of the CDC and Prevention released some statistics on high school students and mental health. And among its findings was an alarming high number of teens in the United States reporting that emotional abuse at home. It was more than half, more than 50%. And I can see that because just some of the stuff I hear the students say today, some of the things that come out their mouth, I can feel the pain, I can hear the pain, and they just want somebody to hear them, somebody to listen to them. And a lot of times they hide behind that pain when they act out and crazy and cuss and do all that stuff, because they don't know how to decipher. They don't know how to filter that stuff. And so sometimes we as adults, we have to be the adults in the room. And it's ironic because this weekend I was in a store. I don't even know where I was. Oh, Sam's. And this young man, this one guy, had on a shirt said adulting, and it had 5 stars on it, and it had 1 star lit. And this one lady said, just 1 star? Just one? He said, yeah, one star. And so it made me think about that we have to be the adults in the room. It has to deal with, it has nothing to do with anything physical or emotional. It is a spiritual issue. What is a spiritual issue, Anna? It is an issue of the own heart. What are you talking about as far as which one? Salvation is of the heart. Yes, I know salvation is of the heart, but what are you referencing what I said? That's what I'm trying to get. So make sure we're on the same page, or we're uh, uh, addressing the same thing. Because emotional abuse is abuse. It's abuse, right? So put downs, the surveys. Yes, our hearts have to change from hate. Yes, Anna, you right about that. Yes, it is a heart issue. It is a hard issue about how we mistreat people and talk people. Yes, you are exactly right. It is a hard issue. And sometimes people don't want to deal with the heart because they don't want to be, they lie to themselves. You know, it is a hard issue. Anytime you want to usurp control over somebody else, anytime you want to talk down to somebody else, that, you know, and I'm not trying to go script, but the Bible said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what's in the heart is going to come out, you know, and so it is. And so it says that the survey that was saying being sworn at, put downs by a parent or other adults in home, 55% of more than 7,700 high school students said that they had experienced emotional abuse. I was in that situation myself. I became free of it. It's our own heart. We need to stop pointing fingers and look within. Yes, we do. We need to stop pointing fingers at other people, yeah, but we still need to call out the abuse. The person that's being the abuser needs to be called out. They own that abuse. They own it. And so the survey response, this was collected in 2021. And it talked about the experiences is 2020. And you know, during 2020, that was in the heart of the pandemic. And the thing about it, that it's a sharp increase in children from 14 to 17, ages 14 to 17. This 55% was kids of this age group saying they're experiencing emotional abuse. And I know as everybody at home during that pandemic, you know, everybody was quarantining and all that stuff. And it's not to make an excuse. It is not to make an excuse. That's why we have to, because if we don't get ourselves together and we don't grab hold of our kids, which is the future, we're going to lose them. We're going to lose them. And you don't want your child to grow up thinking that that is okay. It is not okay for somebody to talk down to you. It is not okay for somebody to call you out your name. No, it is not okay. We as parents, we got to come above it as well, because I see a lot of parents do that. Just even how they talk to their kids in the store, sometimes it makes me cringe. We got to do better. We got to do better. Now, emotional abuse doesn't always lead to a physical abuse. It does not, but it doesn't make it any less dangerous. Yes, they suffer. Abusers have the same issue. They too suffer under looking for love in all the wrong places. Yes, they do. They do, but they need to get help. Just like everybody. If anybody has an issue, you have to first acknowledge first that you got an issue. You got to acknowledge first that you have an issue. Because nobody, if you never acknowledge it, you're not going to attend to it. You can't tell a person that's self-righteous that they're self-righteous, because they don't believe they're self-righteous. So if they don't believe they're self-righteous, then they're not going to be willing to change. If somebody is not willing to admit to their fault and they're saying, I didn't do it, first of all, you can't help them, and they can't help themselves because they don't feel like they're at fault. Whose fault is it when you are offended by words and take it personal? What other people say about you has nothing to do with you, but with them. So when you feel abused by words, it is you who identify with that. That's not necessarily so, Words are powerful. Words start wars between countries. When wars start, it starts with words. Words carry weight. Once you put it in the atmosphere, you cannot take it back. We tend to place these types of abuse, what I'm saying, emotional abuse is hierarchy or order. It's true that someone may never experience physical abuse, but abuse is abuse. And the essential element here is one person trying to maintain power and control over another, be it through physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse. Abuse is the abnormal use of something. That's what abuse is. My personal terminology, abnormal use of something. You should not try to usurp power and control over anybody. That is not our job. Any one of us. Emotional abuse can also happen between parents and children, adults between one another that's in an intimate partner marriage or whatever, colleagues, partners, boss and co-workers, in all of these types of relationships. And so we have, it can include anything like manipulation or threatening behaviors such as constantly criticizing or regularly ridiculing people, making people question their self-worth, isolating them from certain people, making accusations against them. All of that involves emotional abuse, manipulation and control, trying to control you to the way they want you to be, trying to have you to act the way they want you to act. You are not a puppet, and they are not a puppet master where they got you on a string. You move the way they want you to move. You turn the way they want you to. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And so some of the things that includes emotional abuse, gaslighting. They're good at that. Gaslighting, making one question their reality. What do I mean by that? You hit them, or you calling them names, and they're telling you they hurt your feelings. You're like, oh, you shouldn't be worried about that. No, that's gaslighting. You don't get to hurt somebody's feelings, or you don't get to offend somebody, and then you tell them they shouldn't be offended. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. You do not get to hurt somebody and then tell them they shouldn't be hurt. You don't get to do that. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. Belittling somebody, making someone feel unimportant. Why would you even be around? Why would we do that? Everybody is important. Everybody has something to contribute. No matter how big it is or how little it is, everybody has something that they can contribute. Everybody that has something that they're good at, something. Never make people feel unimportant. That's manipulation. Oh, you don't matter anyway. Oh, being condescending. I hate to hear people talk like that. You don't know what people is going through. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life. And the one thing you can do would be that one thing that tip them over. You're not once, who are you? And I'm talking about all of us, myself as well. We don't get to do that. You don't know what is going on in people's minds and in their lives, that they just had one too many, whatever. Life happens. And it could be that one thing that tips them over. And you could be that one thing or that one person to say that one word that could just blow it all up. You just don't know. But the thing about it is to have empathy. Would you want somebody to do that to you? Most people don't. Most abusers don't. They don't have empathy. They don't think about nobody but themselves. Another part of emotional abuse, silent treatment. Ignoring somebody as if they're not there. Giving them the silent treatment. Married couple do that real good. A lot of people do that real good, as if you just insignificant. I'm just not going to say anything. I'm just going to ignore them. emotional abuse. And especially we're talking about teenagers. These are minds that are constantly developing. We're talking about in teenagers right now. This particular session that I'm talking about now is teenagers. They do not have the capacity, mental capacity, to understand and to deal with some of the things that life has brought them at their age. Again, like I said, 14 to 17, I was still out there playing double dutch, hopscotch, jacks, all that stuff. I wasn't dealing with no adult issues because their minds are not mature enough to handle some of the things that they have had to handle. And so now we get this, that they're dealing with emotional abuse. And why? Because sometimes we as adults, we take things out on our kids, we take things out on other people because of stress. This pandemic has brought a lot of stuff out of people. It has brought a lot of stuff to the forefront, what people can't handle. I mean, it's just, this pandemic has brought out a lot of things, good, bad, and indifferent. It has just brought out a lot of stuff that we as the world was not ready for. But it's here, dead smack in our face. Deal with it. That's what it's telling us, because COVID-19 is telling us you either go deal with it or you not. It's going to be one or the other. And it's right here. We got to deal with it. And this abuse, we have to deal with it. This is a community thing. It's no longer what goes on in the house stays on in the house. Oh, that's them over there. We're not going to deal with it. As long as it's me and mine and we okay. No, this is a community thing, because what affects one person affects another. If your girlfriend or your sibling or your sister is dealing with abuse, you mean tell me that don't affect you and that's your friend? It affects everybody that's attached to that person. So we have to be careful. The uncertainty of the pandemic, working from home, caring for ill family members. Now people having to deal with, their parents, because couples, now we have parents that's living with, couples and stuff. So you got to deal with mom and dad when they're up in age. You got to deal with the kids. And then sometimes you have the grandkids and all that stuff. Remote school, that was a monster with all in itself. And having a social support, parents have to rely or taken away. All this social support that you have. Sometimes you go somewhere and you just being able to relax. You couldn't do that. You could not do that, because when you're in a house with 12 people, because everybody has to shelter in place as the whole world had to do, and you got only so many rooms to go to try to steal away, then that can increase stress. It can keep, and then you have you to, do things that's not as healthy, or be able to manage things better. We're just trying to do better. I'm not here to point fingers. We're here to bring it up and talk about it. We're here to talk about it. You're right. That's it. Mothers, it's not just mothers though, take stress out on their kids and are not taking responsibility for it. So their children develop hate and go into the world. Yeah. Yep. You're right, Anna. We do. They do. And so we have to see what we can do to help our teenagers, because we don't want them to go out there and cause terror with somebody else because of unresolved issues that they didn't get fixed at home, or didn't address. And so we talk about teenagers who fear that they are being emotionally abused, or they feel like they have, we always tell them to find a teacher or a counselor or some trusted adult that they can talk to. Because sometimes, one thing I know about teenagers, and I've been around them quite a bit, they may share a lot with somebody else before they share it with you. I'm talking about you, meaning the mom. You may be the last to know, or whoever they're talking to, they may share it with you. But a lot of times they would talk to. Actually, I went to the nail shop to get my nails done this week, and the little girl, the shop owner, she came and sat with me, and she was just like, hey, she was just talking and stuff, and I'm looking at her and stuff, and she was just talking about how the kids was at school and how she didn't like to go to a quote unquote white school than a black school, because she said the kids were making fun of her because she was Chinese, talking, doing the eyes and stuff. And I said, well, that wasn't very nice and all that stuff. And so she kind of went all off talking about this particular boy she liked or whatever. And I said, okay. I said, who is that? Your mom? Well, no, she said, that's my grandmama. I said, did she, now the other lady, the owner, she's friends with, she likes her. She say, that's her godmother, whatever. Oh, I tell her everything. I said, what your girl? She said, I don't tell my grandmother nothing. I don't tell her anything, And so I thought about that. I said, no matter what race or ethnicity you come from, kids go be kids. They go be kids. And if they don't feel like they can talk to you or trust you, they are not going to talk to you. And so one of the things we have to do as parents, as adults, when we mess up, admit to it and apologize. You can't say, well, I'm the adult. So, okay, yeah, you're the adult, but you're an adult that messed up. Apologize to the kids. Apologize to that teenager. Because they need to know, oh, okay, they apologize. They messed up and apologize. So they mean I can do that too. We can't say, yeah, kids need their fathers, but every kid is not without a father, Anna. Every kid is not without a father. And so, and all the kids I'm talking about, majority of their fathers at home. So I'm not blanketing that. And so my thing is this, apologize. Let your kids know that you messed up and apologize. I mean, we don't get it right all the time. Being parents, we don't hit 10 all the time. We don't. And I'm the first to tell you. There are several times I've had to go to my husband, go to my kids, and apologize. If you want to get it right, if you want a healthy household, if you want a healthy relationship, and that's what it's about, relationship. And so remember, kids are going through as well, with this pandemic, because a lot of them suffered with the social, they're social. Everybody's social, really. But when you been at home that long, and they didn't get to see their kid friends, that Zoom only did so much, school on Zoom. They didn't do a whole lot. But I mean, they still didn't want to, they wanted to be social, to touch and touchy-feely and talk to their friends and all that stuff, face to face and all that. They wanted to do that. And so that caused a lot of anguish and stress, during this pandemic. And so remember, you don't have to deal with that. We just want you to recognize that the teens, they're dealing with this stuff too. And sometimes we have messed up as adults because we were too under stress. We was under stress. Didn't know if you was going to have a job. Didn't know when you was going back. And then, one while the food, shortage of food. And, everybody was stressed. And then, of course, you didn't know if you was going to step outside and catch COVID, all that stuff. It was just everything. And so it was just stress on top of stress. And somewhere, the kids got buckled in in between us and life, or life and us, or whatever. And so we have to make sure that anytime there is abuse or unhealthy, it don't have to be an abuse, but an unhealthy relationship between, the siblings, the spouse, or whatever, understand that there are red flags and know the red flags. So we just want to make sure that we understand, yes, go back and talk to that, say, hey, I want to talk. Let's talk. Don't wait for them to talk because they're going to say nothing. What's wrong? Nothing. Or they ain't going to talk. Well, then don't try to make them talk. You start talking. You share some stuff. This is how my day went. Then they'll start talking. Don't say, well, how your day went. They're going to say it's fine or whatever. And even if they have a bad day. But you have to be, we have to be proactive, especially when we feel that there is some damage or there is some a breach in a relationship, or there is something that's just kind of off kilter. Your kids, when something's off kilter, be the person that's going to be proactive and go forward with that, so we can repair these unhealthy relationships, so we can repair these breaches, so these kids don't take this stuff out in the world and start clowning with other folks because they hurt and they're dealing with unresolved hurt, and then they go lashing out at everybody else. So let's fix it here. Let's fix it now. So if you or someone need help, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. or the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673 in the United States. You can also reach us at JADASA.org on our website or any of our social media pages, or you can call us at 1-800-292-2145. You can also find resources if you are out of state and you're not in the state of Missouri and you are any of the 49 states in the United States. You can go to your state's coalition website by Googling it. And also, if you're in another country, because we are global, if you're in another country, you can go to Google and put in your domestic violence hotline in your respective country. I will leave you with this. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. What God is saying, what he told the prophet Jeremiah, is that he is thinking good thoughts towards us. He is thinking thoughts of peace. He's not thinking evil thoughts towards us, but he wants to give you an expected end. What does that mean? He wants to give you the end that you expect to have. That's what he wants to give you. The end that you want. If you want an end that's dealing with peace, love, tranquility, that's what God is saying. He wants to give you that, what you expect. So remember, JADASA is a community and you are a community. We are a global community. Therefore, you are a part of JADASA. JADASA working with you and for you 24/7, 365 days, all day, every day. With that being said, I want you to be safe. I want you to be well. I want you to be whole. Good night.